No forced sales until September 2021. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and I hope you're all enjoying your Melbourne Cup day. Well, it probably wouldn't be a stein of coffee if you're enjoying Melbourne Cup. Now, an article has just appeared in the Sydney Morning Herald, which is evidence of the can getting kicked down the road further than any of us anticipated. The concern was that once the mortgage holidays disappeared, that there would be more people that would be pushed towards a forced sale. I always thought that the banks would try and persuade people gently to sell before that came, or maybe encourage people to go interest only to try and slow or decant the bad loans and people who can't afford to pay their mortgages or keep their investment properties onto the market at a more sustainable rate to minimize the impact that has on the market, particularly now that a lot of the demand for property, particularly from international investors, students and migrants, has started to disappear. It'd be a fine act to counterbalance it with the government stimulus to make sure they didn't lose a lot of the value of their assets. And, well, there's political will to keep property at an elevated level because so much of our wealth is tipped into it. Now, I was constantly making the joke, it's 2020, what else could people do? I was saying, well, we could have Mortgage Keeper, just wait for Mortgage Keeper. But, well, I was wrong. No, they're just not going to force people to sell. There's a moratorium on forced home sales until September 2021. So the CBA, they're not going to force anyone out of their home until September 2021. That's months after the end of their mortgage holidays. So what does that mean? Is this just laying the groundwork to encourage people to go into interest only, or to have slow sales, or to tell people, after September, we're going to have to force sell you then, you better get moving now? What do you think? Or am I just, do I not appreciate the fact that the banks are our friends? They're our friends, Florian. What are you thinking? The Commonwealth Bank of Australia is the first major bank that is committed to a moratorium on home foreclosures until September 2021 after pressure from the Financial Counselling Services body. Well, to be brutally honest, they don't want to foreclose on homes. They don't want to force sale it. It costs money. It takes time. It's easier if people just did it themselves. It really is if people just sold out themselves. Financial Counselling Australia Chief Executive Fiona Gerthy published an open letter to banks in September calling for lenders to avoid forced home sales for borrowers affected by the pandemic. CBA subsequently contacted Ms. Gerthy for advice and has now pledged to not force on customers who were up to date with mortgage payments before the pandemic hit. Okay, so if you're okay before the pandemic, well, you've got until September, guys. But if you're doing the dodge before then, you're fair game. What do you think, everyone? And of course, the other banks will have to follow through. It'll be bad publicity if the others don't. Maybe what you could do is, if you're in trouble, you jump to the Commonwealth. Could this be a recruiting mechanism? Or would it be something they'd do anyway, and they're just spinning it in a way to try and generate some buzz, some publicity? I'm pleased to confirm that we will be putting in place a freeze on forced sales for COVID home loan deferral customers who were unable to return to full repayments. CBA Retail Banking Executive Angus Sullivan wrote in a letter to Ms. Gerthy on Tuesday. Well, here's the question, guys. How long can the banks keep doing all of this? How long till the shareholders demand the banks cut their dead weight? I guess if we get an interest rate cut, it depends on when I release this video, before or after the cut. If we get one, if we don't, money's so cheap now anyway. Does it even matter to the banks? This means that any customer making full mortgage repayments in the 12 months prior to entering a home loan deferral will be able to remain in their home until September 2021, even if they are now struggling to get back to making repayments where they agreed to work with us. Well, the thing is, if you've got a whole lot of people who are struggling to make repayments, what's it worth kicking them out? Rental demand is going down. And the demand for homes right now, a big chunk of it, is in this wonderful thing here called new build. It's all the stimulus in housing. A lot of it's going into new build. Look at those building approval numbers, everyone. But then again, this is September next year. September next year. Well, here we have it, guys. Maybe my mortgage keeper jokes are not jokes, and it's going to be prophetic. Oh, boy. CBA sent a 3-page document to the FCA to distribute to its financial counselors, outlining which customers are eligible and urging concerned customers to contact their bank. She said the moratorium was a terrific development that will give borrowers peace of mind. Will it? I don't think it'll give you peace of mind. It'll just put the stress off until September. It doesn't ever if you've got that stress, if you've got something you have to deal with. Like we had a legal a threat appear to us once on Christmas Eve. On bloody Christmas Eve. And of course, everyone's shut, so you can't respond to it for months' time. We sorted it all out eventually, but still, that was a horrible holiday season. And that just shows you, that was really spiteful. That was really, really spiteful. That's a bloody great Christmas present. It's almost as good as last year, when all of a sudden, half my YouTube videos were limp restricted. All this crazy stuff was happening on YouTube. That was great too. Wonder what surprise will be this Christmas. Obviously, it's not for everyone. If we were struggling before the pandemic, that group of people will need a different sort of support, she said. But for this group, who are entirely up to date pre-pandemic and might be in an industry where it's been harder to get a job, they just need more time. I think this will take away a lot of stress. It might, but this is hoping that everything's back to normal by September next year. By hoping that we'll have an economic rebound. Maybe we will. But what this tells us is maybe there are not that many people that are actually in this situation with the CommBank. How many investors will just kick the can the road? I mean, we'll just be. It's just pushing. It's just pushing the mortgage cliff from March to September now for CommBank. That's all it's doing. It literally is kicking the can down the road even further. They're picking up the can and they're punting it, trying to get through the goals. They'll probably hit the goalpost and bounce off the scoreboard. She said she was surprised by the move and expected the government would have to intervene to prevent the banks foreclosing on borrowers. Why would they? They don't want to foreclose on borrowers. They want to kick them along as long as they can. If they start foreclosing on people, they're going to cop it as much as anyone else because they're so tied up in property. The Banking Royal Commission has made banks and investors wake up to the fact they need to think about the long-term and not short-term profits, she said. The banking industry has been proactive in offering customers struggling during the pandemic deferrals on mortgages or small business loan payments. All major banks have hired additional staff to reach out to customers and encouraged full or partial repayments, with between 20 and 30% of customers now starting to make repayments. Latest figures from September showed the total number of CBA loans on deferral was around 129,000. Total balance of 42 billion, down from 210,000 loans, worth 67 billion in June. CBA is set to update the market on the progress of its deferrals next Wednesday. Because remember, these loans that are given these extensions due to the pandemic, they're not configured in arrears. You know, they're not bad loans because they've changed the rules. They've changed the rules. So there we have it, guys. Kicking the can down the road until September. Does this surprise any of you? Did you expect this? What do you think? Do you think we'll see Mortgage Keeper? At least if not next year, maybe at the next federal election. Mortgage Keeper. Just get a monthly repayment. We'll pay your house for you. And then when you die, the government will own it. Don't worry about it. And your kids can still live there, but the government will own it. I don't know anymore if it's a joke or not. Seriously, I can't tell. What's going on? Anyway, guys, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Do you think this is a good development? or do you think it's just more of can kicking? Are you in the situation where you can't meet your repayments? Does this make you happy? I don't see how this can be anything more than just putting your stress further off. Maybe you can, scrape it together by then, but maybe there's just no chance of it happening. Maybe there's some people that are such in debt that are going to get even wiped out even more. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next episode.